Definitely stick around for this video if you're thinking about or have already purchased this lightsaber, because I've made a couple of little interesting discoveries, mostly revolving around this spinning chassis. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. Today's lightsaber is really interesting, and it comes over from Vader Sabers. Now, I believe, if I'm correct, that this is the first spinning crystal chamber section for Xeno V3. And that's exciting because Xeno V3, I'm seeing taking these big strides forward, where now we're getting these spinning crystal chambers in them, which you could really only before get in something that you would spend well over $1,000 on sometimes, from a custom lightsaber builder. Now, I am definitely interested in diving into this one a little bit more and checking out this whole spinning crystal chamber section. But before we do, if you are new here, please drop down, hit that like, subscribe, notification button for upcoming videos. I got a ton of lightsabers and 6-scale figures coming out, and you're not going to want to miss those, especially if you're starting to get into collecting lightsabers or 6-scale figures. And if you're returning back to hang out on the channel, thanks so much. Let's get into this unboxing. Now, first I want to start by thanking Vader Sabers for sending this awesome lightsaber over for everybody to check out. I have been reviewing Vader Sabers products for quite some time now. They're super reliable. They're down in Florida, which for me is great because I'm also on the East Coast. I'm up in Jersey. They're down in Florida. So whenever I have any questions about, hey, what's going on with this, what's going on with that, it's super easy for me to just pick up a phone and call them for some support. Another great thing about Vader Sabers for all of you is that if you want something custom weathered, they do a lot of their own custom weathering in-house that you would not be able to get from the factories themselves. So that's really cool because you can have something heavily weathered or very lightly weathered. It's great to have that custom option at your fingertips. This is the Dark Vortex Xeno V3, and it also comes in Profi. You can click on customization if you want it standard black, just like this one. You can get it lightly weathered as well. Now, if you want to store your burritos in these hard shell cases, this is just a few extra bucks, like when you're ordering guacamole at Chipotle. Now I'm hungry. Now, this is not a new problem. This has happened to me a handful of times in the past. Anytime I talk about lightsabers resembling a burrito, I get really hungry because I'm usually filming around lunchtime. Right now it's about 11:15 and I am hungry. So I mentioned a burrito and now I've got to go get one. I think they're open. I think they open at like 11. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, I think the only thing that resembles burritos are Disney lightsabers. I have not had Chipotle in a long time, and I feel like I just gained 10 pounds. I'm gonna have a food coma. It's just so much burrito. All right, let's get back to the studio and finish this review. All right, we're back. Let's unbox this lightsaber. So the first thing that we're gonna notice about this particular lightsaber is that this is extremely inspired by Darth Vader. Now, I feel like if Darth Vader did live on and continue to modify his lightsaber, this would probably be what the lightsaber would look like in another 20 years. All right, we'll dig into that more in a second. Over here, we do have our tools. We have our retention screws, Allen wrench, and a little thumb screw thingy. And then we have our full manual right here. We have our USB-C charging cable, our USB drive, and we have a beautiful pixel blade, which I actually haven't even opened yet. Let's do that. Got a cap at the bottom there. Oh yeah. Bam! And I want to send another thank you to Vader Sabers. This is actually a 28-inch blade. I do prefer shorter blades, 28 to 32, so it's nice to have another blade on hand. All right, let's get rid of this case and we'll dig on into the lightsaber. So here we are. You can right away see all the resemblances and the inspiration for this lightsaber right here on his original saber. Now, this is also available at Vader Sabers. I did all my own weathering on this, but you can have them weather this up just like this. So for this one, what I did was add some rust stains and everything and some dirt in the corners. sanded down the shine because this was very chrome plated when I first got it. But you can get the same type of weathering over at Vader Sabers. And I think for anybody looking around for lightsaber options, having somebody that will custom weather something for you right when you order it, I think is a big value for you. So just holding them together, I mean, you can see the exact same tops. We've got the same thumb screw here. This is not a button or anything. This was a button here, but this is not a button. The activation switch is up over here. But then moving down, we've got the same style of grips here, but Vader's originally went all around. The new one, we only have a section, so they kind of crunched them all together and grouped them on this side. And then on the back here, we kind of have these plates. Now the star of the show over here is obviously the crystal chamber reveal, and that does spin. The only thing with this is that it reminds me of a pool outline, and I do wish it wasn't so roundy, as it kind of just feels, you know, designed. It doesn't look like it was broken off or anything. It's not just scars or whatever, but I understand why they did that. Because you don't want to cut yourself or anything on this, and you don't want sharp edges. I do wish it just looked a little bit more organically broken, if that makes any sense, rather than feeling like it was simply designed just to reveal that chamber, although that's exactly what it was designed for, you know? And to just focus in a little bit further, we do have a fully lit and spinning crystal chamber in there. So I know exactly what everybody's going to say right now. That sounds like a hamster running in a hamster wheel. I have never actually had a spinning crystal chamber anywhere, so I don't really have a reference point of what that's supposed to sound like. If any of you do have spinning crystal chambers out there, let me know if that is a normal sound for, you know, the moving mechanisms and the gears and stuff like that. But I know that is going to be the first thing that everybody points out, is that it sounds like there's a little hamster in there running on a wheel. Let's dig on inside. We do have a beautiful removable gold chassis. I love these chassis. You couldn't possibly add more elegance to this lightsaber than adding a gold chassis to it. On here, we do have a kill switch, so when you're done using it, you flip that off and preserve your battery. Over here, you do have your USB-C charging port, and on the back, you have the access to your SD card. And for one more trick, when you turn it on, we do have LEDs all around the chassis itself. I mean, honestly, this is like one of the most stunning looking lightsabers. It's this futuristic, or let's say rebooted Darth Vader lightsaber with a gold chassis and broken hilt to reveal this crystal chamber in it. I mean, this thing is sick. So this is a Xeno V3, and you can control this with an app on your phone called the Xeno Configurator. So let's pull that out and make sure that our firmware and everything on this is updated before we get going. All right, so we have our Xeno hooked up here. This is the Xeno Configurator app, and you can find that in your app store. And we're gonna go to our last tab at the bottom there, click on our saber, and make sure that we are completely updated with software. And we are on the current version 1.2.5 as the filming of this video. But I wanted to try a setting really quick before I even get going. Now in tab 2, we actually have motor speed. Now I am wondering if that controls the speed here of the chamber. So let's get this going. Go back to page 1, put the power on, and now we have our moving chamber. Let's see if this does anything. Motor speed. All right, I'm not seeing that do anything. I thought that would change the speed of the spin, but I'm not seeing that change anything. All right. Huh, I was actually hoping that in the manual it would have some info about that, but I'm not seeing. It does look like this manual is just a little bit out of date versus the firmware that we have now, you know, the version of the app itself. Because this whole section here looks like it's completely new versus what's in the manual. I'll have to dig in a little bit more on that, and hopefully the manual will be updated. Unless it is in there and I'm just not seeing it someplace. But according to that page, this whole section is missing, which means it's just a slightly outdated manual since they updated this app. But anyway, in the app, you have full control over here, and there are a few extra settings in the app that aren't available on the hilt itself if you're just using it. But 99% of everything that you could do on the app, you can do on the hilt itself. So if you're out and about messing around with your lightsaber, you don't really have to turn your phone on and hook it up to change the color, change the blade style, change your font and stuff like that. If you want to change your blade size length from, let's say, like a 36 to a 28, like the blade size I have here, then you could do that in the app. If you want to update your firmware, then you can do that in the app. But let's just take a quick run through. We have our power, we have our battery power. So this is what's left on your battery. I have 35% left. Then you have your volume control here. I usually like to leave the Xenos around 50% because they just sound a little bit better. Over here you have your font control. That will bring up this little window at the bottom where you could just slide through all of your sound fonts. And we have 34 pre-installed sound fonts. Turn my blade brightness down. Okay, now that was a very interesting discovery. I turned my blade brightness down and the speed of the motor slowed down. Huh, all right. Let's go back here. Go back to a simple single color. Huh, now that's very interesting. So it seems the blade brightness is also corresponding with the speed of your chamber here, which is, I would have figured the motor speed is what does that. So I make it brighter and we speed up. I make the blade dimmer and it's pretty much stopped. That is a very interesting discovery, the fact that for some reason, I don't know if it's just a bug in the app or the coding or whatever it is, that the brightness of the blade is slowing down and speeding up the crystal chamber area. Interesting. All right, let's just give this a quick run through. Blasters, lock up. Twist on and twist off. You can hear the accent swings, that's really cool. To flip through your fonts, you just want to flip it upside down and give a twist counterclockwise.
Fallen Apprentice Magenta. The Princess.
This one I really like, the fire blade style. Since it's like a nice, dark, stealthy looking hilt, that fire blade just kind of makes it really menacing. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not really sure where to put my hand on this for swinging it around. I don't want to accidentally stick my finger in the spinning chassis there, and there's a control box on the back there. Then you don't want to choke up too high because these are kind of pointy and everything there. So you definitely have to find a comfortable point because there's a lot of things kind of going on right there. This doesn't seem to be too bad if you put the chamber a little bit more towards the middle of your fingers here. Now you can change the volume and your blade styles and your ignition styles and everything right on the hilt itself. So volume is holding the button once for one beep.
Volume low.
All right, now you could turn on that beep in the app in the second page section. It's called Countdown, I believe it's called. Just flip that on, and every time you flop through the menu like this, you'll get that beep, that bloop.
Volume low. Mute. Volume high.
2 beeps is gonna be your blade style.
Steady.
So we have no effects or anything on the blade.
Unstable. Rainbow blade.
Rainbow blade. The pulse and the fire blades are usually the ones I like the most. And then 3 is your ignition styles.
Broken ignition.
That's one of my favorites.
Photon ignition. Stack ignition. Warp ignition. Phaser ignition. Scavenger ignition. Hunter ignition.
And then there's 2 ways to change the colors. Upside down, and you're gonna hold the button and give a twist to the left. All right, and that's gonna bang through the colors there. It's just gonna hit on hard greens and yellows and a couple different variations, right? Click to select. And the other version is exactly the same, but in reverse. One you're gonna twist to the left, the other one you're gonna twist to the right. All right, and this is basically going to allow you to just kind of scroll through the colors just by twisting. All right, and then when you find the color you want, you just click it in. All right, now here is another discovery I just found out. I have this on auto color change, and depending on the color, you can actually see the color in the crystal there. Depending on the color of the blade, it's changing speed. See, it's really slow, faster, slow. Really dragging there. Oh, so dragging. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, it could also be a bug thing where, you know, different colors are reacting to the speed, just like in the app when I took the brightness of the blade down, it slowed the chamber down. So I don't know what's going on in there. You know, so there could just be some bugs in the system that they need to work out as far as coding and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, you know, even if it's just for display, if you wanted to get this for display and turn it on once in a while, this is a beautiful, beautiful, kind of futuristic, almost rebooted Darth Vader lightsaber, which I find very intriguing. Because it's so familiar, but yet so different. Anyway, I do think that is about it for this lightsaber. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of the Dark Vortex lightsaber. This inspired by Darth Vader lightsaber. I find it to be really interesting and very cool. I'm really excited to see these spinning chamber type things coming down into the mid-level market of that $300 to $400 kind of range, rather than only in those high-end $1,000 plus lightsabers. This is very interesting. So let me know what you think of this, if you're planning on picking this up, if you already ordered one for yourself. And while you're down in the comments, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button thingies and everything down here, and share the videos. Let the world know that we're making some fun videos for Star Wars and lightsabers and 6-scale figure videos, and I will see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.